Good evening, everybody in Chiefs Kingdom. Welcome to Chiefs Digest Live Q&A, the Thursday night edition. Hoping the little earlier start time, well, a little late since, of course, I'm always late, it seems like, on the live streams. Hoping a few maybe more can join us this week, trying to get ahead of Thursday night football. We'll be playing around with this a little bit. I'm not still completely officially locking in for Thursdays either. I would love to try and find a time that works the best for the most people out there. Maybe we just go and move it around kind of for a while just to find that sweet spot and give more people an opportunity to find the show and join the conversation and everything. So tonight, 6:30 instead of 7, and doing that because we've got a special guest coming in tonight. I like to call him TV's Mick Shafferr. Mick Shafferr from KSHB 41, proud partner over at KSHB 41. Obviously, hopefully 41 is the mic with myself and Nick Jacobs, a producer in the sports department over at KSHB. Mick, been a longtime friend. I've known Mick for 15 plus years now. It has been quite a while. So love the opportunity to have Mick in. He's hilarious. So hopefully we'll all have a good time with him. Yeah, Jackson, it's been a tough week all around for everybody, I think. So definitely looking forward to tonight and having a lot of fun, having Mick in. So hopefully we'll have a great time. I will say the main reason why I did start the podcast late or the live stream late tonight. If you have not seen it, Dale Carter, longtime announcer, public address announcer for the Chiefs and KFKF Radio, has announced that he's retiring immediately as the Arrowhead Stadium voice of the Chiefs. So he will not be on the public address mic come Sunday for Arrowhead Stadium and for the Chiefs. He's been, like I said, he's been at it for more than 16 years. He's a broadcast legend in Kansas City and in radio as a Hall of Fame radio announcer. Obviously been in Kansas City for a long, long time. Yep. I think you're not alone, Jackson. I think a lot of Chiefs fans are going to miss him on the call. I was just chasing down to make sure that it was for real. I know he posted it on his Facebook page earlier today, but kind of, I mean, surprising. He's been on that for a long, long time, and like I said, he's a big part of the atmosphere at Arrowhead, and the third down calls are certainly going to be missed by a lot of Chiefs fans. So. I have not heard officially yet who's going to be replacing him. He does have a backup that fills in if he's ever been sick or anything, or is on standby in case they need a backup. I'll be admit I don't know who the backup is. So when I track that down and find out if there's just going to be a temporary replacement or immediate full-time replacement, we'll let you all know and everything. But I thought that was just of noted interest. May not have, obviously going to affect mostly just people that go to the games and hear his voice on the public address at Arrowhead. But I know Dale's got a lot of fans in Kansas City from his work in radio over the years, and a lot of people who probably don't realize that the guy that they listen to on the radio has been doing the public address for the Chiefs for so long, but has done a great job. So, I think he's one of the best. So with that, we'll go ahead and dive into the questions. And I know Luttrell, there you go. How did practice go for Worthy today? The Chiefs, they signed him as limited, and I'll tell you what I will do. I'm going to multitask here for you, Luttrell. I'm going to try and convert this video. I've got my practice video from today. I'm going to try and convert it so that we can maybe see it. I know the last time I did this, it ended up being very choppy. So Nick has given me some advice on converting the video format. And even though StreamYard says that it's compatible, we'll try a different format to make sure that this one is compatible. You can kind of see what Worthy did today. But I mean, the portion that was open to the media, I'll be honest, Xavier did not do much. He caught some passes. He tossed some footballs with his left hand. He's right-handed, so was not doing it, not throwing any footballs with that right shoulder. He did go through some drills, and there was some contact in those drills, but it wasn't very hard contact. He dropped the ball in one of the throws. I think was the only one that he had to catch today, and he dropped that one. And I'm not being facetious against Xavier here. I mean, the fact that he is out there on the field is to a degree ludicrous. I mean, I wouldn't expect this guy to be out there at all, but it does say something about his toughness. And people pointed out, this dude played up most of last year, I think at least half the season last year at Texas with a broken hand. And that was one of the reasons why the Chiefs did draft him, even though he's a little undersized. Is the scouting report on him from Texas was that he's one of the toughest guys on the team, and he will take any punishment that's out there. I can't imagine there's a scenario where he actually plays on Sunday. Stranger things have happened, but it just seems as though with I'm sorry, I'm watching Nick Jacobs wave in the background as our guest is coming in to join us. Oops, I clicked him in and out. Nick. Well, I saw the thumbs up and I thought you were ready, but if you need to finish dinner,
I'm ready.
You can do both at the same time.
Is this podcast too good for me eating tater tot casserole?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, we'll let the questioners and the commenters, determine that for sure. But if Nick wants to come and say hi to everybody again, I mean, I know they would love to see him. So
I'm using his computer because mine was just not talking to StreamYard. So here we are.
I saw you pop in and pop out. So
yeah.
Well, I appreciate you just being able to join us at all. This is the second one of these live streams that I've been doing on Thursdays. And knowing me as you do, you can probably understand this. My idea was that instead of doing 1 2-hour episode on Tuesdays, I would break it up into 2 1-hour episodes, one on Tuesday, one on Thursday. This week's Tuesday episode was like 2 hours long anyway. So
yeah, I heard that about you, Matt.
Yeah.
Usually if you set a time limit of 30 minutes, it'll go 90. And there's like a sliding scale of what you set time-wise and how long it'll go. I have a source. 100%. You can imagine who that source is.
I can imagine who the source is. This is like a lot of things in my life, Mick. I assume that everything that I do will take the exact perfect amount of time. If I got to my house to the KSHB studios once in 22 minutes, I assume that I can get there every single time in 22 minutes.
Yeah.
So
your punctuality or lack thereof reflects that. No, you're on time all the time. And I owe you for coming on this show. I should come on the show. I don't know if it'd be a good thing for this show, but I owe you so many. How many times have I just texted you like at 2:00 in the afternoon on a Sunday saying, "Hey, wanna?" And you're like, "Absolutely." So you save my bacon a lot on Sunday Sound Off.
I mean, it helps that, one, I really enjoy doing that, one. And then two, I have no life, Mick. So that helps out as well. That you have literally never asked me when I've had something going on. So that tells you
I haven't.
About how my Sundays usually go. Well, I'll start here. I'll start with this question for you. Can you imagine that Xavier Worthy plays on Sunday?
No, I can't. Not at all.
I
think what Andy misspoke the other day, and what he says day by day or
day by day instead of day to day.
Basically said we're checking on him daily, and everybody's like, he's day to day. Which, I mean, if you've been a Chiefs fan for longer than like 10 years, you should know that day to day,
kiss of death,
like year to year on Eric Berry's case and all that stuff. So I did not take that as he's day to day. And you were out there today. Nick was out there today, and yeah. He might have been just out there for optics today. It sounds like, but it's good news in that, like, hey, we feared a lot worse, and it sounds like the Chiefs might have him back sooner than later.
I mean, that would be amazing if just the fact that if he can get out there at all, I mean, is one amazing to me. But two, I mean, if it's an indication that he's only going to be at a couple of games instead of maybe 4 or 5, even better. But yeah, I mean, this totally felt like just get him out there to, as I compared it earlier today to, I'm old enough, Mick, that I remember when the Russians would like take their presidents who'd already died and like, have body doubles out there just to pretend that they were still alive. Not quite that bad, but I did feel like this was just Xavierr Worthy going out there to wave at the Eagles coaches to let them know, hey, I'm here. Go ahead and prepare for me this week.
Those. I think Avril Lavigne has those as well.
Oh yeah, after she died from Lyme disease, right? Is that the story?
That's the story.
There you go.
No, I think he's slight of build. It's hard to find somebody that looks, like him and walks like him. So I think that was him. I think he's alive and well, maybe not fully well, but gonna play again this year. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's this month at this point.
Yeah, almost all the early questions have all been about whether Worthy is going to play on Sunday. So that tells you. I mean, and that's the thing is that, when you hear he's practicing today, you think to yourself, okay, well, he actually practiced, but you saw the video. I mean,
yeah,
was not. I mean,
there's a gray area.
Let's put it that way.
Participants, right? There's like guys that'll go through everything and maybe only get like half the reps that he would normally get, and then there's like, I'm just gonna run for some drills for 3 minutes during the open media session, and then who knows what happens after that.
Yes, I'm doing my best to try and save and export my video from today in a format that StreamYard can actually use. So we'll see if that works.
Oh, so you can play it right here, huh?
We're gonna try. We're gonna see what we can do. So, and yeah, I started talking about this at the beginning of the show. You probably know Dale Carter personally, since you know everybody.
I do know of him. I don't know him personally. No.
I'm surprised, but Dale stepping down after 16 years of being the public address announcer at Arrowhead, stepping down immediately. So, I mean, he's been a huge part of the atmosphere at Arrowhead for 16 plus years.
For so long, right? You recognize that voice, and I'm trying to remember what's Nate's last name. I think he's filled in before. He's a PA guy. He lives next to me. I know who he is. I wonder if he's going to be kind of like the next guy as the PA voice, because they're always the nameless, people behind the mic. But it's kind of like same with Kauffman Stadium. It's kind of like a fabric of the stadium, kind of a piece of the franchise that you don't always pay attention to. But when it's gone, you're like, wait a second, that's different. Something's different here.
Yeah, it's gonna be different, and his third down call in particular. How will Chiefs fans know it's third down, Mick?
No other way. They'll have to look at the little ribbon board, I guess.
Gosh, and I would pay good money if the Missouri Tigers just hired Dale Carter to say third down, so that we could get rid of Timmy Trumpets. But that's just
is that what plays at Furrow Field?
Yes, every single defensive third down. I think they do say third down, but then it has the Timmy Trumpets under it and then plays it off and everything. And it's like, no, I am so over that. I can only handle that so many times.
I'm so bad. I don't know. I just know voices. I don't know the names, but the K-State football announcer always says it's third down. And he's a local guy, I think, because he does Blue Valley. One of my kids was playing several years ago, Blue Valley. And I heard him like, oh, that's the K-State guy, or a guy that's doing the exact impression. But I'm pretty sure it was him.
And that's the thing that I because I know. I mean, I've even seen it today. People talk about the fact that they had no idea that the guy on KFKF was the public address announcer at Arrowhead.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just don't make that connection. Jackson's asking, what are your thoughts on the Thursday night game? This is actually a great Thursday night football game tonight.
Well, Commanders at Packers, right?
Yeah.
I've been on the Commanders sophomore slump train.
Ooh.
So I'm definitely going Packers in this one, being at home. And that might be a wishful thinking. I don't know. I talked myself into thinking the Chiefs were going to look a lot different than they did Friday night. So maybe this is just another example of that.
It's always just week one. You never know.
Just week one.
I can't knock anybody beyond the sophomore slump, because I was on the sophomore slump for CJ Stroud last year.
Nailed that one.
I don't know if it didn't take a step forward, so I feel like I nailed that.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to do, right? I mean, we see it so many times. I mean, I feel like, the majority of quarterbacks, the first year they play, are not good, obviously, and you're not allowed to fail in the NFL, especially at the quarterback position. So then you're resorted to holding a clipboard the rest of your life. But the ones who do excel their first year, I mean, the smartest football minds in the world now have, a full season of tape on you, and they're going to spend a lot of that off season paying attention to you and trying to figure you out and make sure you don't do that again. So it's hard to come back and do it again, which is why, like, what Patrick Mahomes has done, and he's had some down seasons, like last year, one of them, but those are down compared to himself, right? The way he's been able to maintain pretty much greatness every year of his career is amazing. Let's see, his sophomore year would have been, 2019.
I mean, depending on how
he
you
had
look at
28 touchdown passes, but
yeah.
he missed like two and a half games with an injury. So, and then still, got back to a Super Bowl and won it, or got 2-1 and won it. So it's hard to do. That. I kind of predicted that with Bo Nix as well, and another team the Chiefs will play. So maybe I'm talking myself into that.
I am totally on the Bo Nix sophomore slump bandwagon, so I'm with you there. I have, however, bought into Jaden Daniels because I'm going with the Chiefs over the Commanders in the Super Bowl. So
apparently you are. Yeah,
that could really backfire on me.
I would. I think any Chiefs fan would sign up to play really anybody in the Super Bowl, but definitely the Commanders at this point.
After week one, yes.
Or those Eagles. Nobody wants to see the 49ers again, right?
No, you don't want to see the 49ers. I mean, the Eagles just, because of Nick Sirianni, just seem primed for a step back.
Yeah.
I mean, he is going to keep them from winning this year.
Yeah. What if it was Chiefs and Cowboys and Taylor Swift at halftime in the Super Bowl? It would just be like just the biggest, like, front runner, kind of the biggest things going right now in so many fields. It'd be like Walmart and Apple and the Yankees all combining right there for people outside of those fan bases would just be disgusted.
They would, but that would fit the script. I mean, absolutely fit the script. I think Dave is just like everybody else, Mick. The biggest takeaway from the Chiefs' loss on Thursday was, where was the pass rush? What do you think of it?
I mean, I tweeted at one point, I don't know if there's more green around Justin Herbert or the guy that's catching Justin Herbert's passes, right? Because, and I don't know, and Spags kind of said it today, it's like a little bit of both. We got to get to the quarterback quicker and got to cover a little bit longer, right? It's all connected. Yep. But the Chiefs weren't connected whatsoever defensively, it seemed like, Friday night. So, yeah, I was worried about, even when the Chiefs did get a guy through, maybe they brought a fifth guy, and guys were still running wide open out there. So, yeah, that was I made the comment, like, all the Chiefs problems, so many of them from last year, I kind of figured, okay, they're going to fix this, and this, and it's going to be so much better. I feel like almost all of them came back and were worse in that one game than we saw them last year. The offense stalling out, and they put some drives together in the second half. But the inability to run the football, inability for receivers to get separation and be open. And look, I know Xavierr Worthy, that definitely changed things. His injury, defense, lack of a pass rush, so many areas of concern that were just kind of still there.
Yeah, and that's the one, I mean, scary thing is this, even though it's 7 months apart, there were a lot of problems in week one that were just very similar to what we saw in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And one of the takeaways you absolutely had to be worried about was teams going to school on what the Eagles did against the Chiefs on both sides of the football. Because if they learned teams learned their lessons, there's places to attack. And the Chargers did their homework. I mean, they knew where to go with the football, and they knew to go against type, because I thought it was really intriguing. The Spags just basically admitted that they were not ready for the Chargers to throw the football as early and as often as they did.
Yeah, it's still like there were still a third and 16 that they picked up 15 yards on, and then eventually got a fourth down. Even in passing situations and downs, I feel like the Chiefs rarely got to Herbert. to make a difference. And it felt like as the game wore on too, the defense wore down more and more.
Yeah, it was that
against an offensive line that we thought that, okay, that's where you can game plan, right? That's the weakness of this team, this Chargers team, and it didn't happen that game.
No, and that's the thing. I mean, it's the travel and the logistics did not affect these two teams equally. One looked a lot more tired and exhausted than the other one did.
I don't know if that was. I mean, was that the travel? Can we blame the Chiefs? Blame it on the travel for the Chiefs?
Blame it on the bus ride?
Normally, that's a team that masters the international travel. They had yet to lose, right? And normally they're the team that's great in season openers because Andy Reid has time to prepare. And both those things, both those trends got bucked, I guess.
This is the second most question, I think, of the week and the night, besides anything about Xavier Worthy. And I think you know where I'm going with this one, Mick. Did Nick win the lottery from Missouri this week?
No. There's a guy in St. Louis, right, Nick?
I mean, do we know that Mick didn't go over to St. Louis?
He's being weird, Nick, mysterious weird for some reason. I don't know. But he's still here, so I know he didn't win, which is unfortunate because we made a pact a long time ago. Nick's only been talking about the lottery for like a quarter of a century. Every year I've known him. I'm back in Metro Sports. I think I asked for like, I don't know, 1% or something like that. I don't know. I feel like I have a good enough relationship that he'll throw me something.
I mean,
20,000. Give me 20,000 of your 1 billion, Nick. You know,
he has frequently told me that I will never know if he has won the lottery or not because he doesn't plan on letting anybody know that. I believe that we will know it because suddenly all of his Chiefs coverage will mysteriously be of much higher quality and production value. He's going to have like $1 million studio that he's doing his Jacob's Eye in the Sky breakdowns from.
Well, when it's called the Nick Jacobs Chiefs practice facility, we might know at that point. Can you imagine him with money? How paranoid is he now? Give him $1 billion. Can you imagine how more paranoid he will be then?
That
then it'd be warranted. Yeah, I don't know.
That would be warranted at that point.
Yeah.
I just want to know what his pickup truck would look like if he won the lottery.
Well, hopefully he would have multiple pickup trucks, but he's got a theory that it's slanted towards California. Because it's Californians always winning.
That, I mean, there's a legitimate point to that, but then everybody lives in California, so
a lot of people do. Well, they need to keep that money there because the taxes are through the roof.
Congratulations, you won the lottery. You now have $25 left.
Yes, here's $5 million. You won the lottery. You can afford one house.
Oh no! I mean, if Mick wins the lottery, and he is try to be the only non-member of the Hunt family to have a minority ownership in the Chiefs.
That's exactly it.
Him and Patrick will one day have minority ownerships. Bumper with worrying about the pass rush. Would you have any interest in Jadeveon Clowney becoming a Chief?
How old is he?
He's old. I think he was in with the Cowboys for a visit today.
No.
So there's still some interest in him. But yeah, how old is he?
When was the last time he was a factor?
Well, that's a fair question too.
He's born in 93, so he is 32 now. He played 14 games with the Panthers last year and came up with 5.5 sacks, 9.5 the year before with Baltimore. But you play on Baltimore's defense, everybody gets 10 sacks.
Yeah, and I mean that was 30. I mean, not to say that there's just a magical fall off the cliff when you hit 31, but there's a magical fall off the cliff somewhere around there, which is a legitimate reason to be worried about Chris Jones too. But
no, I think they're gonna roll with the guys they have. We were talking with Dana Hughes in here earlier today about kind of like the doom some Chiefs fans are maybe feeling about the team. We have short memories because Chiefs have been here before. There have been stints in these last 7 or 8 years where you felt like, okay, the castle's fallen down, right? Things are crumbling. The end is here. And what we brought up, Nick, the 2019 season when it was back-to-back games to the two AFC South teams at home, right? The Texans and the Colts. And you're like, uh-oh, what's going on here? A couple of years later, 2021, oh, man, they started 3-4. That loss to the Titans in Nashville, like 27-3.
Yeah.
It was over at that point. Then they put it together, win 10 of 11, and are basically dominating the AFC Championship game for a half. And then things fall apart in the second half. Otherwise, they're back in the Super Bowl. So I know it feels weird. I mean, if you count the preseason games, it's 5 straight games they haven't won. It might be 6 after Sunday. But I think if you take a step back, you shouldn't feel that doom and gloom about the team.
Yeah, I feel like that, hey, there was a certain reason to be concerned. I mean, and Spags has talked about it before. This team has seen it before, that, it might take them a few weeks to figure out the secondary and what they have there. And it might take them a few weeks, too, to figure out their rotation up front and really who their best 4 are, and on every down, who their best 4 pass rushers might be. And at some point this year, it might be Ashton Gelati in some of those roles. So,
yeah, there's nothing like competition as a motivator there. And it's one game. And, a lot of that might be like, okay, your big guys are better than ours, but a lot of it's scheme, too, and preparation and how I think there is something to the fact that the Chargers threw it a lot more than anticipated. And so, when it's all said and done, it's just one game.
100%. Kenneth has an interesting question about letting Mike Edwards play for vocal veteran leadership. No Spag said that there wasn't a lot of confusion last week, but it seemed that way. I mean, the fact that they're missing Justin Reed is also probably a legitimate question. And Kenneth, I mean, my thought wouldn't be that, you need Mike Edwards, but my point would be that you probably just need some time for those safeties to figure out their role and figure out who's going to be the vocal leader and kind of give you that leadership back there.
No, I agree. It's a bigger problem than we think, I guess, if Mike Edwards is the answer for the defense.
Bless his heart.
But I listened to Spags today as well, and it really, I mean, and he's obviously, knows everything, and he's, I think, for the most part, a straight shooter. But it felt like there was a lot more miscommunication out there in that game than he had, led on today. He said I think he said he thought he remembered one play where there was people weren't on the same page, but man, it seemed like a lot more than that.
Yeah, it did. But again, hey, first game of the season and a young secondary without Justin Reed. I need to see more. Bigger sample size, Mick. That's what we need.
Can you name all the teams that Jadeveon Clowney's played for?
Oh, I could not even begin to. I mean, I could probably get a couple of them, but
6 now.
I mean, okay, Ravens.
6 in the last 7 years.
Titans.
Ravens, Titans, yes.
Oh gosh,
the big one to begin this career.
Gosh, was that Carolina?
He's Carolina last year.
Okay, why am I blanking on who drafted Jadeveon Clowney?
I'm not sure why.
The Texans.
Texans, yes.
Okay, Texans and Titans, I always get mixed up in my head, so that's a problem for me.
Same division. They were
4.
Used to be the other one.
feel pretty good with 4.
Cleveland for 2 years.
Oh, there you go. Well, you play for Cleveland, and there's a 90% chance I'm not going to know who you are.
Right.
Jesus, we don't. When Nick is here, we hardly ever take betting questions for very long because Nick doesn't like to talk about the betting questions. But with Jesus, I do have a funny answer here. Hey, does the betting line tell you anything with it being 1.5 points? It tells me, Mick, that's exactly where Vegas thinks that they can get half the money on both teams.
Sure. Yeah. That's it. I mean, you're it's not always like this team's going to win by this much. They know betters, and I'm sure there's a lot of them on the Eagles, and there's probably a lot with the Chiefs these days, and they win at half money. A lot sometimes. I mean, they're gamblers too. Sometimes they'll set it to where like, okay, we know we're going to get some easy monies and some money, and if it doesn't go their way, they'll take a bath. But yeah, I mean, I would take, that's almost a money line right there. I would take the Eagles in that one. I would take Eagles -1.5.
Well, and last week was a classic example of does Vegas know something that we don't? Because the public money was on the Chiefs, and the sharp money was on the Chargers, and
Yeah,
the sharp money won.
got it done.
Mitchell Fleming, why not move Bashard Smith to wide receiver? Wouldn't he be more effective than what they have available? I mean, I still love Bashard Smith and his speed as a running back. I want to see that in the backfield because the Chiefs have nobody else with speed, Mick.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, they don't. The running back is an issue room at this point, and yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen enough of Bashard Smith to know where he belongs or what I think of him. I don't think he did have any snaps last week.
He had a couple. I think he had maybe 6 to 10 snaps. Maybe it was 9.
Oh, did he that many?
No, he had a handful, right? but no touches. So
yeah,
no targets, no touches. Yeah, one thing that makes me wonder about that is that there is something to be said, and whether it was the game plan going in or it happened with Xavierr Worthy, I don't feel like we saw anything from the Chiefs that was new on Friday.
No,
it was a lot of greatest hits. It was pretty Chiefs vanilla.
Yeah.
So was Andy Reid just waiting to break out the new stuff against the Eagles and didn't want to throw it all out there?
I think there's something to that. Although, I mean, a division game is far more important against a potential contender. Is far more important than a NFC game. I would think. I did like. I mean, there's it's easy to point all the negatives. I did like that there were 3 deep balls in that game. I miss the Chiefs team that last couple of years gone like a month, without throwing 3 deep balls. So I did like that part. Now, one was a desperation. Screw it. Hollywood's down there somewhere. But it happened and it connected, and that counts. And I like seeing that.
Yeah, that was good to see. I know you need to get back to work here pretty soon, Mick.
I'm going to go shoot a high school football game.
Oh, there you go. Quick personal question for you. Do you have a favorite Chiefs game or player?
Favorite Chiefs game? Oh my God, there've been so many here. 2002. No, I'm joking. Have to be in the Mahomes era. Man, that's the first Super Bowl. It's pretty. You know what? I'm going to say when they broke through that first year, 2019, and that would have been the Titans, right? AFC Championship game, because kind of like, just getting to the Super Bowl was just this ceiling that hadn't just seemed unattainable. And kind of the year before breaking through and getting to the AFC Championship game, something that felt unattainable was big too. But I remember just the joy on the field, because you had the Hunt family there finally getting that Hunt trophy. It happened at Arrowhead. It was you were headed to the Super Bowl. Confetti was falling down, and it was a big deal. I remember just kind of, because I just started at 41, but I had been in the market forever, and I had to fill for 2 or 3 minutes, which is forever in TV. And I just kind of started remembering back to all the teams they'd had and all the struggles and the few near misses they had, and to kind of get to that moment and get to the game. It wasn't the Super Bowl, but it was almost a bigger celebration than winning it, because A, it's in Kansas City, and B, it was so unattainable for so long. So I don't know if there's any wrong answer there if you pick any Super Bowl, but that one kind of stands out to me quite a bit.
Do you have a favorite player that you've covered that isn't Patrick Mahomes?
Pat's pretty great. He's all the things that are asked of him, off the football field, and how he accommodates them, and delivers good answers, and a lot of times they're funny and anecdotal, and he's not a robot up there. So I really appreciate Mahomes. Who would be another good one? God, so many of those guys. I saw, You know what? Recently, I've interviewed Dustin Colquitt and Derek Johnson. I think they're in the same draft, maybe, right? Like in 05 or something like that. Um, both kind of all-timer Chiefs guys that were around. I know they both played a little bit for other organizations, but pretty much lifers when it comes, and just good dudes off the field. And I feel like I should be naming some offensive linemen who are always like really good, really good to talk to. Mitchell Schwartz is great. Invited me over. Mitchell Schwartz, how about that? Invited me over to his house to do a story on him cooking pork butt. It was a great story.
Nice. I've been trying to find an angle where I can tag along with him when he goes over to Char Bar for a tour of the kitchen.
Oh yeah,
because that's my goal.
Tag along with him on the golf course because he lives out there. It seems like.
Yeah, seems like it. That's a good life to have.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. Well, Mick, we will let you go shoot some high school football. Which game you got tonight?
So there's only a couple, but it's a crossover game. It's a Missouri team and a Kansas team. Lincoln Prep is going to play Shawnee Mission West at Shawnee Mission South. It's their home field. So yeah, might as well go get a few plays, come back, kind of keep track of the Royals game here. It's my Friday night, so in a good mood.
There you go.
Who knows?
Well, Mick, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you coming in and stopping by with us for a while. This is a lot of fun. You're the first guest ever on the Thursday, our first Thursday nights. See,
hey,
so
listen, Matt, anytime, okay? And by any time, I mean once every 6 months.
Exactly. When you're trying to get out of something else. There you go.
Exactly.
Well, Mick, have a great night. Have fun shooting high school football, and we will see you again in 6 months.
You bet. How do I get out of this thing? Do you do it for me?
I can do it for you.
Okay, bye.
There you go. TV's Mick Shafferr, everyone. Appreciate Mick for coming by and dropping in. That was a lot of fun. And like I said, first guest. So hey, he could be the answer to a trivia question one day if the Thursday night program ever becomes an official thing, or at least what are we going to call this? Chiefs Digest Q&A 2? I don't know. We need to come up with something. The Deuce. Yeah, I don't know what we're going to call it, but I was trying to figure that one out, Harold. What gifts to Matt have in the green room for you? Oh, are you looking for green room gifts that I had for Mick? I didn't have anything for Mick, so I'm not. I don't take care of my green room guests very well. So no. But truly appreciate that. Hope that was a lot of fun for you, fun for me. Mick's entertaining and a great guy. So we'll try and get some more guests and some different opinions, different thoughts. And so I'm hoping we can, now that we've broken this seal, hopefully we can get some more guests down the road. Mitchell, would you take Bolton out on clear passing downs? He is a clear liability. Eagles will exploit that, right? It's interesting because I honestly thought, Mitchell, that was an area where I thought that Nick Bolton looked improved in training camp, and I would be willing to give it a little bit more time just for this reason alone, which is that I'm thinking that it's just here I am. This is what happens when I try to multitask, when I'm trying to download the video of Xavierr Worthy. But I think it's a little bit of what happens when you have the game plan that the Chiefs had last night, which is just that they were, or on Friday night rather. I'll focus on one thing until I can get my sentence out completely. It was evident in the way that the Chiefs talked about it today in the last couple of days. They were playing the run. They were trying to play the run on Friday night, and they're playing the run first. And that was, and I don't even think it really in the second half adjusted that much. They adjusted a little bit. I mean, they were able to shut things down a little bit. They still had some leaks. And yeah, I mean, we know that teams are, one of the strategy with the teams, until the Chiefs until Nick Bolton figures out how to stop it, they're going to try and put tight ends and running backs on Nick Bolton and take advantage of that in the passing game. Like I said, I thought he showed improvements in training camp, but if your strategy is going to be with the defense and with Bolton is to play the run first, you're going to give up some pass, because then all of a sudden, Bolton's responsibility, if he's plan in. If he's stepping in, one, that's one step out of pass coverage that he's already getting, and then two, his eyes are in the backfield. He's got to make sure that it's not a run before he plays the pass, and at that point, you can already be beat. So, I think the Chiefs have to maybe have a little bit more balanced approach. There could have been, and maybe this is something that they probably, and I think there was, with Nick being a little too committed to the run at a lot of times, because that was their primary mission, was to stop the run, and just getting out of position. So what does he look like in situations where the Chiefs put him into an opportunity where they're not asking him to play the run first, where they're asking to be more balanced? Maybe they're asking him to play the pass first, look at that, and then play downhill. Well, is that a worthy strategy? Is that a worthy situation? I mean, because you're talking about clear passing downs. If you're taking him out on third downs, would be obviously the most clear passing downs when you get into third and medium, third and long situations. First and second downs aren't really, they can be, second downs particularly can be passing downs, but first downs kind of a 50-50 play most of the time, maybe a little bit more than that for a pass. So are you taking him out on first downs too? I mean, you're really just talking about probably a handful of snaps in third down situations. And I'd have to look at Bolton's numbers to see if he was getting beat and they were targeting him on third downs. You do have Drew Tranquil, who can play the mic for you. Now, it gets a little complicated when, you're trying to move in and out a Mike linebacker that calls plays for you. Where's the green dot? That can be tricky. There's some logistics to it. So, you can't necessarily have them both on the field at the same time if you're wanting them to switch back and forth, because they have to switch helmets. Doesn't mean that you have to have the mic on the field. You can go without, but then you're calling the plays, manually, for lack of a better word. I mean, you're doing it old fashioned way, maybe shuttling the play in rather than calling it through the helmet. So that gets a little bit more difficult. But I mean, Mitchell, anything is probably worth considering and discussing. I would just like to see, especially this season, since I think that was an area of focus for him in camp, and I thought that there had been an improvement, that you want to just see how he's going to be like going forward. Luttrell, chances Pacheco gets more carries this week. Somebody needs to, Luttrell, because I mean, 10 touches for your running backs. I guess you could say 11 in the running game if you want to, with the one that Worthy had. That's probably that's not enough to have a balanced offense, and the Chiefs got out of balance pretty quickly, and that can be a lot of reasons. Now, and I mean, if anything, it's probably somewhat counterintuitive that the Chiefs lost what's arguably their best receiver on the field on the third play of the game, and then got away from the run. I think you'd normally say, okay, well, if the Chiefs are, if they're worried about throwing the football without their best receiver out there, and frankly, their best two without Rashee Rice, wouldn't you lean on the run even a little bit more? But the Chiefs got throw happy. And that's sometimes, I mean, in losses, it's going to happen. You get behind, you get down by 10, it's going to happen. It happened to the Chiefs. They may have gotten, however, a little panicky and started throwing a little bit too early. So that would be, my thought, Luttrell, is that, and it's difficult when you're in the moment. I get it. Like I said, it's not something that, I mean, I know some of us were talking about it during the game, even, that it was getting a little bit, but I think it's a little 2020 hindsight to say, well, you should have run the ball more in this situation or that situation. But it's at least something that you have to learn from. And, the Chiefs do usually correct. I mean, they don't normally have not gotten in stretches where they get away from the run and then they just continue to get away from the run for 3 weeks. Usually it's a game that if it's obvious and apparent that they got away from the run too much, there's usually a correction the following week. Is it a good correction or bad correction? That might be a legitimate question. I mean, are the Chiefs going to run the ball 29 times this week and lose? I doubt it, because chances are if they run the ball 29 times, it's because they've got a lead and they're running with it. If they fall down 10-0 to the Eagles, are they going to be disciplined enough to try and remain balanced, or are they going to get throw happy? My guess is they would get throw happy and just start chucking the ball all over the place. might work. I mean, it is Mahomes. You know, if you can't go wrong putting the ball in Mahomes' hand, but at the same time, you got to have threat of the run. If teams know that the only time that you're going to run the football is on 3rd and short, well, one, they're probably going to stop you on 1st and 2nd and 3rd and long. And then 2, they probably got a better chance of stopping you on 3rd and short too, if they know you're going to run the ball all the time. So I thought the Chiefs were, like I said with Mick here earlier, I thought the Chiefs were pretty, vanilla and pretty ordinary in their play call on Friday night. So if they can be more varied and more disciplined, then that's a good thing, and that will probably result in more touches. And Pacheco if he's your lead running back, he needs more than 5 carries. 5's probably a fine number for Kareem. I mean, especially if you're just using him in short yardage situations. If it's going to be a 2-to-1 split, 67-33 Pacheco and Pacheco and Hunt, probably need a few more touches for Hunt. But I want to see Bashard Smith get touches. I don't care if they're in the backfield. I don't care if you're throwing him the football. His speed is game-changing. And if you can get the ball to him in space, you need to see what it looks like. And he's a pretty good receiver. And I know we had the question earlier about making him a receiver full-time. I wouldn't be in the boat to do that yet, because I think there's something to him in the backfield. I think he can be a good running back. And here's the thing. I think there's a better chance that Bashard Smith becomes a average running back who is great catching the ball out of the backfield. And that honestly is something that you could use in this Chiefs offense. That can be, I mean, if he's a guy that becomes like an 800-yard rusher and a 1,000-yard receiver, you would take that. Honestly, if he was to become a 600-yard rusher and a 600-yard receiver, you could take that. But I can see that happening. I can see Bashard Smith developing into a guy who's at least a 400-yard plus receiver. And I can see it happening quickly in this offense. But not necessarily as a full-time receiver. I think he's a better catcher of the football out of the backfield. And when you can get him into better matchups, because if you split him out wide, you're more often than not, you're going to get him into a favorable matchup, whether it's against a safety or a linebacker. That's what you're trying to do when you split out a running back. If he was just a wide receiver, honestly, and not trying to catch the ball out of the backfield and not splitting out in just rare situations, I think he would probably end up being a below average NFL receiver. But out of the backfield, I think he can be a really unique player. So I want to see more touches. Yes, Luttrell, but I want to see more touches for Pacheco. I want to see him for Bashard Smith as well. Mitchell, if Herbert ran all over the Chiefs, how do they slow down Hurts? Excellent question. And one of them, I mean, Chris Jones and Steve Spagnuolo kind of addressed dead on. They got to be disciplined. They've got to be disciplined. They've got to, and you're going in with a different game plan against Jalen Hurts than you are with Justin Herbert. With Herbert, I mean, like Chris Jones freelanced a bit to try and go after the passer on that 3rd and 14. That's probably not going to happen on a 3rd and 14 against Jalen Hurts, because if you go inside on a 3rd and 14 against Jalen Hurts, he's going to beat you, and he's going to get all 14 of those yards on the ground himself. So is it possible that the Chiefs can stop Herbert or stop and slow down Hurts after getting just roasted on a few plays by Justin Herbert? Sure, because they're going to have completely and totally different game plans. Even when you're trying to play the run and you're looking to stop the running back, and if a play breaks down, you're still not necessarily in a position to be stopping the quarterback from scrambling. The Chiefs, they know they have to, and Spags kind of talked about that a little bit, today, as far as, how much and how often can you spy against Jalen Hurts. And, you can't do it all the time. You can't do it on every single down. There's going to be moments when you're just going to have to, defend them differently, and you just can't spy on him all the time. And, but you're going to have a different game, and you're going to have a different game plan against Jalen Hurts. So, if you play disciplined, and the Chiefs have done this before. I mean, they've done it against Hurts. They've done it against Lamar Jackson. And Hurts, I don't know. Would you put him more? I mean, I think Hurts is probably closer to Josh Allen than Lamar Jackson, because still most of what Jalen Hurts does aren't designed runs. And obviously, I'm not saying he's as big as Josh Allen. That's not the thing. He's faster than Josh Allen, so that's his advantage. But I feel like that, and the way that they run, they choose to run, how they run, I think that it's closer to that. I mean, the Chiefs have contained all those guys, and they've contained Allen at times. But you're not defending Jalen Hurts the same way that you do Lamar Jackson. You're not defending him the same way that you do Justin Herbert. So they can be effective if they've got the right game plan and they choose wisely. But if not, then they can get beat too in this situation. Steam and Demon, am I crazy in thinking if Taylor Swift does the halftime show, Trav will be too psyched out to play a great game? Heck, I think a lot of players will be too messed up if Taylor does halftime. Well, the one thing is I don't know that you necessarily have the Chiefs like thinking, hey, we need to go see Taylor or listen to Taylor at halftime show, because they know Taylor. It's no big deal to them. I would imagine that, I mean, it makes too much sense for Taylor Swift to eventually do a halftime show. I think it makes a lot more sense that she does it after Travis retires, just so that they don't end up in that situation. But honestly, Steeman, I mean, if it happened, I think it would go the other way. I think it would be that Travis would be psyched up to play even better, because, I mean, he didn't have a great Super Bowl last year. I mean, if he's psyched up and fired up, then that Travis Kelce isn't running out of juice. That Travis Kelce isn't getting tired. So maybe Taylor needs to play a halftime show at Arrowhead and just as a warm up and see what happens. So Travis has a great game while Taylor's performing at Arrowhead, or on the drum deck. Hey, maybe that would be all that he needs. John, does Chris Jones look old to you? I would answer this with a little bit of yes and no, John. No, in the sense that, I mean, Chris looks in the same great shape that he's been and always has been, and remains. I mean, he's strong. He looks in great shape. I don't think there's a weight problem of any sort. He seems to be moving well. There haven't been any injury problems. I mean, I think those are all positives. On the field wise, hey, is age catching up with him? Absolutely. I mean, at this point in Chris's career, I keep forgetting if he's 31, how close he is to. I should remember Chris Jones's birthday, but somebody said how old he was the other day, and I was like, I think you aged him a year, because Chris, he just turned 31 because his birthday's July 3rd. I should remember that. I mean, no one gets faster at 30 or 31. At that point, you're starting to use your smarts. You're starting to use your experience to beat people. You don't get any stronger or faster at Chris's age. So, do I think that there's a significant fall off? No, I haven't seen that yet. I mean, does Chris Jones look 10% slower or 10%, weaker? I haven't seen that yet. Does he look like he's got the burst that he had, in years past, when just every once in a while he can just take over a play? Well, we didn't see it Friday night. We didn't see that burst from almost anybody other than Patrick, though. So I want to see what happens going forward, because, still one of the best traits about Chris, it's not necessarily that Chris just simply dominates every play. It's hard to do that in the NFL. Most guys don't do that. It's all about really how many plays can you dominate. I mean, Aaron Donald was great because he dominated, to me, a lot of plays. There are guys who can dominate 2 or 3 plays a game. That's why you keep them around, because even though if they're average the other plays, but they can dominate on 2 or 3, they're going to be impact players for you. Chris is an impact player because he can be an average to good player on every single play, but there's some plays that he simply blows up and destroys. He didn't have any of those really on Friday night. If he has 4 or 5, 6 of those against the Eagles, especially, late, which is again, Chris's time to shine, then I'll feel a lot different. So I just need to see more, John. I haven't seen, age catching up to him. And at this point, he is still more experienced and smarter than the guys who are opposite him. So even if he is starting to slow down, which I would imagine that he is at his age, I don't think there's any doubt that you like I said, you just simply don't continue to get stronger and faster at his age. But it's experience and guile that keeps you ahead of the competition. And I just need to see more. I'm not writing off Chris Jones for one game, just like I'm not writing off anybody on this team for the one game, because like I said, I mean, except for Patrick Mahomes and a handful of maybe young guys, I didn't think anybody looked particularly impressive on Friday night. You'd be asked that question about 20 guys, if they're just getting too old based on what we saw on Friday. Also, Steeman, it's been a few years, but didn't Jerry and Clowney almost come to blows? Jerry sent in the Broncos on a rail. I forgot about that. Yeah. Hey, you know what? Need always weighs everything else. So if Jadeveon needs a job and Jerry needs a defensive lineman, they'll work something out. So, and hey, the Cowboys, they don't have as many character concerns as a lot of teams do. So, and I don't even necessarily want to say it's character. It can be distractions. Because I mean, hey, Jadeveon has had some distractions in the past. Chiefs don't like noise and distractions, and that's, like I said, that's been something that Clowney's come to, and that's why I would say why maybe he hasn't come in for a visit with the Chiefs, or the Chiefs haven't shown any interest yet. Maybe Clowney doesn't have any interest in the Chiefs. I'm not sure, but I would say that, yeah. I mean, I a player like that, I think the Chiefs would have to get pretty desperate before they checked in on Clowney, and they could get there. I mean, it could absolutely happen. So I'm not ruling it out, but I think it would be more likely. I'd be more likely to see that Clowney would become a Cowboy before he would become a Chief. Now, Steeman, you and I must be a similar age here. I'm sure you're a little younger. Your favorite player back in the day, you were a teenager during the Neil Smith era. Chiefs defense rocked, offense did not, but the defense won some games. Yeah, I was in my, let's see, I think it was it 1994? No, it was 92. I'm trying to think. It was my birthday. Actually, it might have been 91 now that I think of it. I know it was my first couple of years of college. So I'm sure, yeah, it would have been 91, because I'm thinking of where I watched the game and which house and location that I watched the game in. I'm almost sure it was 91. But the first year that the Chiefs finally got past Buffalo on a Monday night, October 7th was the game, and that was my birthday. And the Chiefs defense just absolutely destroyed the Bills that night. And it was their first big win over a good team in that new era, that Marty Schottenheimer era. So when we had the question earlier with Mick about his favorite player and favorite game, that game always stands out to me. So anything before the Patrick Mahomes era, that game against Buffalo, like I said, I think pretty sure it was October 7th, 1991. That's the one that stands out to me. So favorite player, I'd have to work on that, because there's probably a lot of different answers to that one for me. So I might have to work on that one. Let's see where we're going. Casey. Reese's was the answer for the green room, Harold. Oh yeah. I mean, if I had a physical green room for any of my shows, absolutely, I'm giving people Reese's. That's number one. So, Alex, I'm in Dexter, Missouri right now for work, and it's too dang hot. Apparently, it's going to be too dang hot on Saturday for the Missouri Tigers. They've moved their game from 3:00 to noon on Saturday to try and get away from the heat a little bit. I don't know how much of the heat you get away from moving a game from 3 to noon. I mean, I know you get it a little bit cooler, but you're still playing at 3:00. I guess you're just not playing at noon versus 5:00. So that's where it gets a little cooler. But yeah, it's pretty hot for September right now, and I've not looked at the temperature for Sunday yet, if there's going to be any drop off. But heat could absolutely be a factor on Sunday too. I mean, this is why I kind of wish they already had a dome stadium for moments like this. And if you're going out and tailgating and it's hot, be careful. I don't want anybody getting hurt out there. So take care of yourselves. Doctor Who, weird, but any chance the Chargers were a trap game? Were they looking forward to the Eagles at home? I mean, yes, I think it's absolutely possible that you could look at the Chargers as a trap game. I think that the Chiefs did, in fact, have a little bit of their eye on the Eagles looking forward. So I don't think that's I mean, I get it. No one wants to hear excuses. Like I said, I completely get that, but I was like, man, I am still having trouble getting this freaking video over. Putting in my password here to log into one of my cloud servers, and apparently I don't know my password. Oh, goodness gracious. This is driving me crazy. Anyway, long time telling that story there and getting distracted. Once again, I don't know why I can't multitask anymore. But I do. I think that the Chiefs were looking forward to the Eagles a little bit, and and they were doing a little bit of prep on the Eagles before time. Is it enough to keep them from winning the game? No. I mean, I think that there's a handful of different distractions that the Chiefs had that could have absolutely contributed to them coming out flat on Friday night. And I mean, Chris looked gassed. Samuel, Travis looked gassed. A lot of guys looked gassed, and except for the young guys and Patrick. I mean, that's about it. So, yeah, I think it was. I mean, I think you could classify it as one. And once again, I mean, I'm not here to make excuses for the Chiefs. I don't think there's anybody in that locker room that would say it was a trap game. There's not a lot of guys who are saying that they lost because of the bus ride or anything. But yeah, hey, it's a real thing. So, like I said, it may not have been any one of these different things. Were they all potential contributors to the Chiefs looking like the way that they did? Yeah, I mean, I do think that they're all potential contributors. Alex, is Worthy's injury not as bad somehow? I mean, I think it's a good question, because here's the thing about the Worthy injury. As I continue to try and get the Worthy video, because my goodness, iCloud is just causing me all sorts of problems here. Oh man, I iCloud and Apple, you are just driving me crazy right now. I'm gonna try something else here. Hey, we finally got it. What do you know? So we're going to try to see if we can't get this uploaded here so I can show you a little over 4 minutes of Xavier Worthy out of practice today. So you can kind of draw your own conclusions from the video, and you don't have to listen to me telling you what I think here. Let's see. I need to go to the right place to get that. And there we go. I mean, if this works, everybody's going to be really excited. So we'll give that a go. It's supposed to be downloading now. If my laptop and my desktop was an Apple product instead of Windows, and everybody was on the same page, this would be so much easier. But I'm not. So let's get back to questions, because I think. What was I trying to answer? Oh, now my screen's frozen. So I can't get back over there. So, but we're talking about Xavier Worthy. There you go. I should know that by now. We are getting ready to download. So I'm going to hopefully have the video here for you momentarily. And then you can all kind of see Xavier. Let's hope that this doesn't have any choppiness. So we're very excited about this. But you will see, you can kind of see right now that Worthy has got that big, I don't know what you call it. I mean, I'm sure it's a little bit of a brace. There you kind of see where he is now. I'll keep this on a loop. How big is the sound? Let's turn that down a little bit so you get some natural sound, but you don't get everything drowning it out. But Worthy's got that. Is it a brace? Is it a cast? Is it a sling? Probably a little bit of everything above. So I mean, he's trying out there. I give him credit. I mean, and what kind of pain that he's got to be right now, with this injury, because dislocated shoulders hurt. And let's assume for a moment that that's what he has, because even though the Chiefs haven't flat out come out and said that, it certainly looks like that's what he has, is a dislocation. No, is it as bad as like the injuries that Hollywood and Tyreek had with the sternoclavicular injuries in the SC joint? No. Is it a more severe shoulder injury that could require surgery? At this point, it doesn't appear to. And I give Xavier credit there. I credited him with a drop on one target. He had a catch on two targets, so I apologize, Xavier. Did not mean to malign you by saying you did not have a catch. But you kind of see as they go through here and everything that hey, he's tough for going through it. Is what he's going through as physical as the other guys? No, I mean they're kind of backing off of him a little bit, and I feel like this was a little bit of a red herring. I don't think Xavier's going to play. The fact that he's out there now, honestly, is a great sign for going forward, because he would not be out there right now doing this if he wasn't close to being able to play. I mean, if he was really going to be out for 4 or 5 weeks, you wouldn't see this right now. Could he play on Sunday? I'm not saying there's zero chance. There's a chance, absolutely. So I like I said, I don't think there's zero chance, but is it worth the risk? Is it something that you're going to do, or is this something that you do just so that the Eagles have to prepare and worry about Xavier Worthy playing, so they got to spend some time on him? That's what I would be doing, Nikki. I would, and Xavier. I mean, like I said earlier, we know he's tough. I guess he played half the season last year with a broken hand, and that's the scouting report that the Chiefs got on him from the Texans, was that this kid is tough. That coaches down in Texas would say he was one of the toughest guys on the team, and that's why the Chiefs were willing to take a chance on, a 5'11", 170, 75-pound guy, because even though he's small in stature, he's tough. And give him credit. Last year, when every receiver on this team seemed to go down, Worthy was the only guy who didn't. I just think it'd be tough, and it would be crazy for him to play, especially if he has the mobility of that right arm that he saw today. He was playing with one arm. I mean, literally was. And I think it was a little bit in this clip earlier, might be a little bit later too. You'll see him throwing the football. He's right-handed, but he was throwing the football left-handed today. I guess I just don't think it would be fair to have Xavier out there having to try and play with essentially one arm. So, and he had 2 catches. My goodness, I'm really, really not giving Worthy credit for his work there. Like I said, I mean, the fact that he's out there is all amazing. But you look at that arm, and I can't remember if it was now or earlier. It may have been right here. There you go. I thought the arms might be coming up. I kind of think that. I'm enough of a sometimes a cynic and enough of a conspiracy theorist that I thought the arms going up might have been for the benefit of us and the cameras, just to show that he could do it. But yeah, I give him tremendous amount of credit. Ooh, and what? I thought that was a drop live. That was not a drop. It looks like the ball hit the tackle dummy there, so the barrier. So I give Worthy even more credit. And I have to take away a drop from him. So I'm not. There's no longer a drop. The defender got that football. So we'll see how that. Hey, if the Chiefs think that he can play, and there's no chance of recausing the injury, if there is no chance of making it worse, go ahead and let him do it. I mean, let him play. That's legitimate. But if there's a chance that he could have a setback, if the pain is too much, I just even a game like this against the Eagles, I don't think it's worth it. Doctor Who. Will we see Nick Jacobs sneaking onto the field yelling at Jalen Carter on Sunday? I mean, I would love to see that, Doctor Who. I don't think that we will, unfortunately, but I would love to see it. Joe, what part of Eagles game will the Chiefs have problems with? I mean, we saw in the Super Bowl they can have problems with all of the Eagles game. I mean, I'm willing to go out on a stretch and just say that as good as the Chiefs have been against the run going back to last year and still having the similar personnel and even scaring the Chargers into not running the football that much, I think they can contain Saquon Barkley. They did it last year. Now, granted, you could say that the Eagles just didn't put a whole lot of effort into running the football, but it's still Saquon Barkley. I think that the run defense is good enough to contain him. Can they have problems with Jalen Hurts? Absolutely. I mean, this game to me, Joe, it's going to be one in the trenches. So it's going to be which line on each side plays better. So the Chiefs' defensive line going against the Eagles' offensive line. If you can contain Jalen Hurts, if you can force him to beat you from the pocket, which is typically the Chiefs' strategy. Now, he's done well in that strategy at times, so that's not always a perfect match. I mean, they kept him in the pocket in the first Super Bowl and barely won the game because Jalen Hurts played the game of his life from the pocket. So it can be done. But what do the Chiefs want to do? They want to contain Jalen Hurts. They just want to make sure that he doesn't beat them outside the pocket. So if they can force him to stay in the pocket, I mean, he struggled against the Cowboys inside the pocket, so there's reason to believe that right now that strategy could work. But now the other side of the ball, I mean, as far as the Chiefs' offensive line protecting Mahomes and in the run game, I mean, this is not exactly the same Eagles defensive front four. It's a lot of the same guys, but hey, they've had some guys leave. They had a couple of free agents who have left. So it's not exactly the same front. And the Chiefs' offensive line, the 4/5 if you want to count Kingsley, because he was there. I mean, if that 80% of the line that was in that Super Bowl is motivated by the fact that they do not want to get pushed around again and can hold off this line, and if Josh Simmons steps up and has a big game this week and is effective, then the Chiefs can absolutely defend their own and they can hold their own against the Eagles front seven. So that would be, I mean, that to me is where this game will be won, Joe. I mean, if one team can protect their quarterback, if one team can run the football effectively, if one team's defense can be productive in the front line, getting sacks, getting turnovers, getting negative plays, that's the team that's going to win it. So not the means that, the defense, the secondary is not going to matter. Receivers aren't going to matter. They will, but I think it's going to come down to whose line in the trenches plays the best. So I think that's where the Chiefs could have the most problems. That would be the matchups because they got beat in the trenches bad back in February. AZ Chief, what's the story behind Dale Carter stepping down? I do not know any more, AZ, than what Dale wrote in his Facebook post. I shared that on Twitter and Blue Sky. If you haven't seen it, you can go find it there. But I don't know anything more beyond that and what he said, which in his post, he said that, the Chiefs had been asking him to make some changes in the way that he works and the way that he calls during the game and as the public address announcement, and that he had worked with them in the past to make some of those changes. He didn't agree with them, but he made those changes. This year, he said that they were asking him to make more changes, and he just did not agree with it. He said it would obviously have been weighing on him quite a bit, but he said there was a lot of pressure off his shoulders now by just going ahead and making this decision and going forward. I don't know for certain yet. I mean, I don't know when he notified the Chiefs. It sounds like the Chiefs knew before today, but I can't tell you exactly when. He does have a backup, like Mick Shafferr was telling us earlier, and I cannot remember his name either. First name is Nate. If somebody knows who that might be, feel free to let me know. Nick Jacobs probably knows, so I probably need to just text Nick and see if he knows who that is. But that would be my guess, at least who would be filling in. It's entirely possible that the Chiefs and I'll go through and let you see Xavier one more time for anybody who's missed it or just want to see how Xavier looked today in practice. But yeah, so with Dale, that's all I know. So we'll see if anything else comes out. Like I said, I don't know if the Chiefs have chosen anyone to be a permanent replacement, if they're just going to be going with who's been Dale's backup in the past. We'll see. But Dale described it as just a kind of a difference of opinion about how to do the job and how to fit it in with the show, the game day show, and everything like that the Chiefs do every week at Arrowhead. So I'm sorry to see it happen because Dale's is obviously one of the best in the biz and been doing it for 16 plus years, and he's been a fixture at Arrowhead Stadium. So, Samuel, will we see Omar Norman Lott week 2? Yeah, he has been a full participant, so you're going to see Omar Norman Lott. Ashton Gelati's been a full participant as well, so you're going to see those guys. How much they play is probably the better question. Gelati, banged up his elbow in that game, his right elbow. He's had it in the sleeve this week. He did come back into the game the other night. The Chiefs, as Steve Spagnuolo said, they want to take it easy with him with that elbow, so it might not be right now that they ramp up his play, but hey, his effort in week 1 deserved more snaps. It's just going to be if that elbow will allow him to. Omar Norman Lott's going to play, certainly looks like, but how good is he? I guess we're going to find out on Sunday how much he's recovered. He could certainly be a last-minute scratch, but after being a full participant both Wednesday and Thursday, that would typically be the green light that he's going to play this week. So we'll find out his game day status on Friday. If there's no game day designation, I think he'd be comfortable that he's going to play, barring any setbacks. So hopefully we'll get to see Omar out there and what he can do against the Eagles. David, how shocked will you be if Kingsley holds his own against Jalen Carter? I mean, a little. I mean, I'd be surprised. It's not a complete mismatch. I mean, Jalen Carter's good. Left one-on-one. Kingsley, probably not the matchup that you want, but Kingsley's going to get some help. I mean, they'll try and shade, when they can, as far as Creed, and give him a little help. Sure, they'll try and get him a little help from Josh as well, and that probably in turn, even though the Chiefs don't do a lot of helping with their tackles, doesn't mean that they don't do some chips from the tight ends and they don't do some chips from the running backs. And just because they don't necessarily keep anybody in to provide additional help, they do try a few things to at least give their tackles some help. But you would think that there's not going to be a whole lot of just one-on-one Kingsley versus Carter if the Chiefs can help it. Now, the Eagles will try and scheme it that way. Obviously, they're going to try to attack, you would think they were going to try and attack Kingsley and get a lot of one-on-one matchups there. But the Chiefs are going to try to fight it the other way. I mean, they're going to try and give him some help if they possibly can. And they're both pros. So, I mean, do I think that Kingsley's going to get run over 50 times by Jalen Carter? No, he's going to win some. And will he win more than he loses? I mean, certainly hope so. It's just, once again, depends on how many. I mean, if it ends up being that it's, 6 times that Kingsley gets some bad losses, that can be 6 plays that lose you the game. But I wouldn't be shocked if he held his own. Pleasantly surprised if he held his own, sure. But I fully expect Kingsley to have some good plays against Jalen. He's not, like I said, is he going to win every single one? Probably not, because most people don't. You're just hoping it's not too bad. Sarah, people need to stop freaking out like the sky is falling. Sarah, I know it's not a question, but I just, unless last call, since this is kind of this and Doctor Who were the last comments on here. So if anybody else has any questions, fire away. But otherwise, we'll be wrapping it up here in a minute. I guess I've been it hasn't been my intention to be Mr. Positive this week, because my intention every week is to simply be as balanced and fair and objective as I possibly can. And some weeks, I guess that means that I'm not the hype man for this team when they're playing well, because I mean, they don't need to be a hype man. I don't, never my intention to be their hype man. I'm just going to say they're playing well. They're not playing well. I'm just going to I'm going to try to report what is. Reality is Friday night was weird. Friday night was an aberration. I mean, was that the team that I saw in training camp throughout July and August? No, it wasn't. Was it the team we saw last year? No. I mean, was it the team we saw in the Super Bowl? A little bit, yeah. But do I think this team is? I mean, I mean, a week ago I thought this team was 13-4. Do I all of a sudden think that they're a 4-13 football team? No. I mean, my philosophy this whole week has been just relax. See what happens in week 2. You know, that week 1 in a foreign country. I mean, the Chiefs have been immune to it, but the reality of it is that plenty of good teams have gone overseas and laid an egg. I mean, remember the Chiefs in 2015 were supposed to get clobbered by Detroit because the Chiefs were just the worst team in football at that point. They were 1-5, playing terrible. Go over there, they got well, and obviously went on a run the rest of the season. It's, you know, good teams lose internationally. It happens all the time. Bad teams win internationally. Happens all the time. So I mean, I don't ever try. I mean, it's one of my. I'm gonna have to make it a cardinal rule, which I've got. You know, a handful of these. You know, one of my cardinal rules that I always share every year is that you never get impressed by wide receivers in shorts. You have to wait until they get hit. Because every wide receiver should look good in May, June, July, and July. So if they don't look good, then move on. If they do look good, wait until the pads come on, as Nick would like to say. So that's one of my cardinal rules. A new cardinal rule that I will add is do not take away any lessons from international games. They do not predict anything. You know, it doesn't matter who the home team is, because there's no home advantage. Doesn't matter who the visiting team was. I mean, I will sell you. I am 100% convinced that the Chargers opted. We'll put opted as the word here because, you know, hey, there could have been other teams, and Chiefs were suggested as an opponent, and the Chargers went along with it. The Chargers opted for the Chiefs to be the opponent in this game because they did their homework. They knew that this game was going to put the Chiefs in a tremendous disadvantage because of the logistics, because of the visitor hotel, all of this. The fact that it wouldn't be Arrowhead West out in SoFi. They loved the fact that they were going to get the Chiefs internationally because they thought it gave them a better chance to win that game. So there was some strategery to it. I love the, you know, non-word of strategery. I like breaking out every once in a while. There was a logic to what the Chargers did, and it worked brilliantly. So give them credit for a winning strategy. I'm with you there. There is absolutely no reason to freak out like the sky is falling. Now, I say that if Chiefs lose to the Eagles, you can freak out like this. No, I'm still not going to tell you to freak out, because if you lose to a good team, again, it's not a freak out. The only reason I would say that you're allowed as a Chiefs fan to freak out on Sunday is if this team comes out and puts up a similar performance that it's put up in their last 2 real games. If this team is at Arrowhead on Sunday and looks like they don't want to be there and is outworked and out physicaled by the Eagles, then I would be legitimately worried. They could lose this game and fight like heck, and I would not be worried about this team going forward. And hey, it might mean that they're not a 13-4 team, but it might still mean they're the best team in the AFC. I mean, that's not, you know, those things are not mutually exclusive. Good teams are going to lose games to other good teams. So wait and see what happens. But I'm not taking it. I don't take anything from that game on Friday night because I think it was an aberration. I mean, these international games are not an indicator of anything. And I have not seen a lot of evidence that does suggest that they are indicators of anything. And in fact, the limited evidence that I have seen is that they are an indicator that international games are a toss-up. that, and especially when you've got good teams. But again, I don't even think that this game was necessarily, like I said, the Chargers put the Chiefs in this situation for a reason, and they got exactly the result that they wanted. They wanted to see if they could maybe flatten out the Chiefs a little bit. So the Chiefs weren't maybe the same team that they were playing in SoFi. They were not the same team that plays in SoFi. So Chargers got what they wanted. There's my rant for the night. If you got a rant, so I should have put up a graphic to indicate that was a rant. And Sarah, you weren't even trying to get a rant. You were just making a good point, and I decided to make my rant agreeing with you. So, everybody, hope you enjoy the rest of your week. I hope you enjoy the game on Sunday. I am going ahead and going with the Chiefs in this one, even though, I feel like it's a 50-50 call. The Eagles are a good team. I have some concerns about the Eagles. In my heart of hearts, I think there's going to be a step back this year because I'm on board with Team Jacobs that Nick Sirianni is not a positive. I think that the Eagles won a Super Bowl in spite of Nick Sirianni last year, not because of Nick Sirianni. I think they're going to lose some games this year because of Nick Sirianni. They just didn't lose a lot last year because of him. Hey, are the Eagles as good as they were a year ago? Based on what we saw Thursday night against the Cowboys, I'm not prepared to say that. And again, I'm not even including the second half of that game because I think that was kind of a washout. But I think, the Eagles looked a little flat to me and the fact that Howie Roseman is trying to go out and shore up that team as much as they can, I think does tell you that even they think that they're a little flat. So I'm going with the Chiefs in this one. 27-24 is my best stab at this game. Hope you all enjoy the game afterwards. Obviously, Nick and I will be recording 41 is the mic. Probably won't be until later that night because obviously Nick's got all the work to do over at KSHB 41 on the shows, on the sports and Sunday Sound Off. So it will probably not be until maybe after 11 o'clock that we get to record. If we get a chance to record earlier and get it produced, we will absolutely do that, but it might not be until later that night. And so you might not see it until your feeds first thing Monday morning. But as always, if you haven't subscribed to us on where you get your podcasts, like Spotify or anywhere else that you listen to your podcast, and Apple Podcasts as well, subscribe there so you get notified. If you like it, leave a 5-star review so other people can help find the podcast. And as always, like us here on Chiefs Digest and hit the bell so you get notified when our videos come out, and you will then get notified when the podcast hits YouTube. And then you can check us out there. So everybody have a great rest of the week. And like I said, next up for us will be 41 is the mic, probably early Monday morning. And then Tuesday back for the Q&A on Tuesday night. And I'll see if I can't line up another guest for us for next week. No, Casey Harold, I don't have a guest yet. But we're going to work on that. So we'll see if I can't come up with somebody fun. Everybody have a great week, and we will talk to you.